Good morning, and welcome to the Architecture in Cities in Transition seminar. The ACT seminar is part of the Tampere Architecture and Design Week TAD program, and the theme of the week and this seminar is Contact. My name is Kasmir Jolma, and I'm really excited about hosting the seminar tonight. We are in the historic Finlayson area in the old factory building completed in 1837. And it's the first time ever that we also have live streaming at the seminar. Because of Corona, we have limited the amount of live audience, but I'm sure that many are following the seminar from home and work. This is also the first year that the Tampere Architecture and Design Week and the ACT seminar is organized by the new TAD Association. This year we have an exceptionally diverse group of speakers from Finland and abroad. And we also have for the first time the announcement of the Pietilä Award by the Building Information Foundation, RTS, in the ACT seminar. On the behalf of the whole Tampere Architecture and Design Week team, I would like to thank everyone who has contributed to the various events during this week, either as organizers, helpers, or participants. So, let's give one round of applause to all the collaborators and events this week. Here you can see the schedule for tonight. We have 3 speeches from Finland before lunch break. The first speech will be in Finnish, and after that the rest will be in English. After lunch we have one of the biggest names in Finnish architecture, Rainer Mahlamäki, followed by the Pietilä Award. We can celebrate the winner of the Pietilä Award during coffee, and after that we have the international keynote of the seminar, David Sim from Denmark. After some more coffee, we have a panel discussion and then the after party in TR5 right next to this space. Before the first seminar presentation, we have a short greeting from one of our sponsors. Ruukki has been supporting the ACT seminar for many years, and we are looking forward to continuing the collaboration. The stage is yours, Jukka Joensuu from Ruukki.
Hyvää huomenta minunkin puolestani. Mulla on vähän tällainen toisenlainen esitys tässä, eli mä puhun hyvin vähän. Käytetään 5 minuuttia tehokkaasti, koska tälle tulee hintaa. Ja käyn valokuvien avulla läpi tätä, että minkälaisia tuotteita Ruukin julkisivutuotteista tai minkälaisia rakennuksia Ruukin julkisivutuotteista voitaisiin tehdä. Ja nämä on ikävä kyllä aika pitkälle tuosta meidän markkina-alueelta itäisestä Keski-Euroopasta. Vähemmän muutama on täältä Suomesta. Mutta tänä päivänä julkisivuina on tullut hyvin paljon tällainen valoefekti sinne taakse. Sitten on tullut erilaisia art-perforointia näihin julkisivutuotteisiin. Ja kuka haluaa tällaisen kuivaneen puun ja siitä muutaman lehti lähtemään? Millä lailla halutaan korostaa sitä rakennuksen julkisivua tai sen yrityksen ajatusta, mitä niissä on. Tässä on tuolta pääkaupunkiseudulta tällainen autoliike, missä käytetään sitten valoa tuolla. Nyt tämä ei pelannut jostain syystä. On lasia ja siihen integroitua energiantuotantoa. Ja tänä päivänä entistä enemmän, niin kuin tässäkin näyttäisi, että tuo leijona hyppää tuolta julkisivusta ulos, mutta se on siihen pintaan teipattu. Siellä pohjalla on meidän sandwich-paneeli. Siinä on tällainen vertikaalinen lamelli, jossa sitten nämä karhut leikkii tätä alkuperäistä ideaa. Tässä en itse aivan tarkasti en pysty sanomaan, että mikä tässä on. Korttenteräs tullut erittäin voimakkaasti rainsinkki, messinki, kupari. tämänkaltaiset julkisivut näiden maalattujen ja maalatun alumiinin ja maalatun teräksen lisäksi näihin rakennuksiin. Siinä on Kouvolan osuuspankin pääkonttorin julkisivu tai aula, mistä mennään sisälle, ja siinä on käytetty sekä messinkiä, 2 meidän tuotetta. Ja sitten voimakkaasti valaistu, niin lopputulos on tuon kaltainen. Tässä on isompi kauppakeskus. Siellä näette noita silhuettia siellä julkisivussa, mitä siellä on, palamuja, kiraffia, tämän tällaisia. Sitten kun tullaan lähemmän, niin ne on teräksellä toteutettu ja arkkitehti on miettinyt tuon, että minkälainen se julkkari olisi, ja lopputulos on iltavalaistuksessa kohtuullisen hieno. Tässä on taas vertikaalista ajatusta, voimakas uritus tuossa julkisivussa ja mitä sillä saadaan aikaiseksi. Samasta kohteesta useampia kuvia. Sitten nämä seinäkkeet ja tämän kortteenin tulo, niin tässä on Tallinnan lentoasemalta muutama kuva ja muista kortteen kohteista. Ja elinkaariajattelun mukaan niin kortteenin käyttö oikein käytettynä julkisivussa niin hyvin paljon säästää sitä korjauskustannuksia, huoltokustannuksia, ja sitten on kohtuullisen pitkäikäinen. Tässä otan tuosta taaksepäin, niin tässä on tällaiset kortteenisäleet, ja niin kuin siellä joku tarkkaavainen puutarhaa harrastava huomaa, että siellä villiviini on lähtenyt kasvamaan tuota seinää pitkin jo ylös. Tässä on puuta, tässä on betonia, tässä on kortteenia kohtuullisen hyvässä sopusoinnussa keskenään. Arkkitehdin ajatus, minkälainen voisi olla tuollainen art-perforoitu seinänpätkä, kortteenista toteutettu, ja sitten tässä se, että miltä se näyttää, kun se on iltavalaistuksessa. Tänä päivänä ehkä joku saattaa vähän miettiä sitä, että tuleeko näistä kalliita. Ei tule. Tietysti ne on tietyt materiaalit hiukan kalliimpia, mutta sitten lopputulos ja kokonaisuus. Ja niin kuin äsken tässä kollegan kanssa keskusteltiin, että olisiko se pantaisiko siihen markkinointiin vähän rahaa, ja tällainen hieno julkisivu toimii myös markkinointina. Esimerkiksi lehtimarkkinointiin verraten, niin tämä on niin kuin kohtuullisen pitkäikäinen. Ja uusimpana meillä on nämä alumiinikomposiitit. On tässä tämä Primo-järjestelmä, ja tästä mulla ei ole vielä valokuvaa, mutta on tällainen kuva. Ja aikani loppuu ilmeisesti tähän, jotta kiitos.
Thank you, Jukka. Now it's time to move on to the first speaker of the Architecture in Cities in Transition seminar. The speech will be in Finnish, and the rest of the presentations will be in English. Riikka Rahkonen is an architect working in urban planning in the city of Tampere. She has been working as a project architect and as the leader of the Western Tampere detail planning team. One of her major tasks in recent years has been the Hienaranta project, first in preparing the Hienaranta district of Tampere International Ideas Competition Program, and later steering the master planning of the area. Please join me in welcoming Riikka Rahkonen.
Thank you. Kiitos. Tervetuloa minunkin puolestani tähän seminaariin. Hienaranta tarjoaa tällaisella kontaktiaiheella monenlaisia lähestymiskulmia, ja itse olen tässä nyt tästä Hienanrannan laajasta suunnitteluproblematiikasta valinnut vain muutamia. Ja ennen kuin niihin mennään, niin kuitenkin esittelen lyhyesti tätä Hienanrannan suunnitteluprosessia. Tampereen kaupunki osti vuonna 2014 Lielahden entisen teollisuusalueen, joka siis sijaitsee Länsi-Tampereella noin 4 kilometrin päässä Tampereen keskustasta Näsijärven rannalla. Tämä vanha tehdasalue omaa mielenkiintoisen historian, eli siinä kohtaa historia, nykypäivä ja tulevaisuus. Vanhat teollisuusrakennukset, kartanomiljöö ja järvenranta tarjoaa erittäin hyvät lähtökohdat uuden mielenkiintoisen urbaanin kaupungin osan luomiselle. Hiedanrannan yleissuunnitelman alueeseen sisältyy 3 aluetta. Eli siihen sisältyy tämä nykyinen Lielahden kaupallinen alue, sitten tämä äsken mainittu Lielahden tehdasalue ja sitten mukaan suunnittelualueeseen otettiin myöskin Näsijärven järvialuetta, johon on suunniteltu täyttöaluetta. Yhteensä tämä suunnittelualue vesipinta-aloineen on noin 250 hehtaaria. Hienonranta on erittäin kunnianhimoinen kaupunkikehityshanke ja siinä keskeisenä tavoitteena on luoda kestävää uutta kaupunginosaa, viihtyisää urbaania asuinaluetta, joka on sitten samalla myöskin työpaikka-alue ja uusien innovaatioiden alusta. Hienonranta on yhtenä kohdealueena Tampereen hiilineutraali Tampere 2030 tiekartassa. Tavoitteena on, että alueelle tulee noin 21 000–25 000 asukasta, työpaikkoja 8 000–10 000. Ja arvioitu on, että alue olisi valmis noin 2050-luvulla, eli suunnittelu tulee kestämään vuosikymmeniä. Suunnittelua edelsi kansainvälinen ideakilpailu, joka käynnistettiin 2016 ja se ratkaistiin sitten seuraavan vuoden tammikuussa, eli 2017. Kilpailun tuomaristo valitsi 2 toista palkintoa, eli voittajatyöryhmät olivat Mandaworks Schoman Nordgren arkkitehdit ja tamperelainen työryhmä arkkitehtuurihuone Buenaventura, joka myöhemmin sitten jakautui 3 eri toimistoksi. Ja nämä voittajat jatkoivat myöskin yleissuunnittelun parissa ja he yhdistivät ideansa kaupunginohjauksessa yhdeksi kokonaisuudeksi. Hiedanrannan yleissuunnitelma valmistui tämän vuoden kesäkuussa ja se on pohja alueen jatkokehittämiselle ja asemakaavoitukselle. Se on yleispiirteinen suunnitelma, epävirallinen suunnittelutaso ja suunnitelmat ovat siis varsin yleispiirteisiä. Ja näistä suunnitelmien niin kuin tärkeimmistä osasista niin tässä nyt seuraavaksi lyhyesti. Eli 3 osa-aluetta, joille kaikille halutaan oma identiteettinsä. Lielahti, nykyinen kaupallinen alue, halutaan edelleen säilyttää seudullisesti merkittävänä liikealueena, mutta sitä kehitetään kaupunkimaisemmaksi, sinne tuodaan asumista ja viheralueita. Ja tässä yleissuunnitelmassa Lielahtea on käsitelty kaikkein karkeimmin ja sen kehityksen pohjaksi tullaan sitten aikanaan saamaan yksityisten maanomistajien hankekehitysideoita. Jo tuossa kilpailuvaiheessa oli merkittävänä kysymyksenä se, että mihin tämän Tampereen läntisen aluekeskuksen keskusta sijoittuu, ja kilpailun pohjalta keskusta on sitten löytänyt paikkansa tuohon mantereelle, tuon vanhan tehdaskokonaisuuden eteläpuolelle, mihin sitten on suunniteltu Notbeckin aukio, joka on samalla sitten tämän raitiotien risteämiskohta. Kilpailussahan kantavana ideana oli, että raitiotielinja menee pohjoiseen Lentävänniemeen tuon tehtaan lävitse. Ja Hiedanrannan keskusta on siis tuossa tehtaan eteläpuolella ja tehdaskokonaisuus säilytetään ja siitä tehdään alueen merkittävä vetovoimatekijä monipuolisine toimintoineen. Ja niin kuin tuossa toi ratikka jo mainittiinkin, niin raitiotie on alueen tämmöinen voimalinja ja liikenneratkaisut ovat olleet merkittävässä osassa tässä yleissuunnittelussa. Eli tavoitteena on käveltävä kaupunki, mutta ajoneuvoliikennettä varten on kuitenkin tulossa merkittävät suurisuuntaiset suunnitelmat rinnakkaiskatuineen ja eritasoliittymeen. No sitten tuo kolmas alue, eli työnimenä Järvikaupunki, nykyinen Näsisaari, tullaan toteuttamaan täyttönä tuohon Näsijärveen siten, että se erotetaan rannasta kanavalla. Ja viheralueet ovat merkittävässä osassa tätä suunnitelmaa, eli tuo keskuspuisto pohjoisesta etelään yhdistää nykyiset viheralueet ja rannat säilytetään tietenkin yleisessä käytössä. Vuorovaikutus, joka sopii päivän teemaan, on ollut erittäin merkittävässä osassa tässä Hiedanrannan suunnitteluprosessissa. Ja vuorovaikutus aloitettiin jo ennen tätä ideakilpailua, eli erilaisilla teemaseminaareilla, työpajoilla, kohtaamisilla erilaisten sidosryhmien kanssa niin valmisteltiin ideakilpailua ja haettiin sitä tavoitteistoa kilpailun pohjaksi. Ja yleissuunnittelu kun alkoi, niin sitä vuorovaikutusta on sitten ollut runsain määrin työryhmän, kaupungin ohjaavan organisaation, erilaisten viranomaisten, sidosryhmien ja poliittisten päättäjien kanssa. Ja siitä sitten jatketaan. Eli tätä kokoustamista on ollut erittäin intensiivisesti tämän prosessin aikana, mutta se on kyllä myöskin sitten kirkastanut tätä suunnittelua. Vuorovaikutus asukkaiden ja suuren yleisön suuntaan on ollut jokseenkin epävirallista. Se ei ollut kankeeta, vaan ihmisiä on kohdattu erilaisissa tapahtumissa, joista ehkä kuuluisin on Hiedanrannan puutarhajuhlat, mutta myöskin Tampere-päivää on hyödynnetty. Eli tuolla kartanon suunnittelukonttorissa, niin sinne on poikennut näissä tapahtumissa ihmisiä, jotka eivät ehkä muuten olisi tulleet tämmöisiin kaavatapahtumiin. Ja tätä avointa prosessia ollaan tietenkin jatkamassa. Ja tärkeänä seikkona tässä vuorovaikutuksessa oli myöskin se, että tehdasalue avattiin yleisölle vuonna 2016 ja näitä rakennuksia otettiin väliaikaiseen käyttöön niin nopeasti kuin se vaan oli mahdollista. Ja tämä yleissuunnitteluprosessi käynnistettiin keväällä 2017 4 työpajan sarjalla, johon kutsuttiin erilaisia sidosryhmiä, ihan tavallisia asukkaita pohtimaan uuden kaupunginosan tavoitteita, minkälaista kaupunginosaa sinne halutaan. Ja näiden työpajojen anti koottiin tämmöisille piirrostauluille ja myöhemmin sitten ihan raportiksi. Mukana oli myöskin Tampereen yliopiston tutkijoita aineistoa kokoamassa. Ja oikeastaan nyt näiltä tauluilta olen tämän puheeni teemoiksi valinnut sen yhden keskeisistä tavoitteista, eli innovatiivisen, yhteisöllisen, elävän kaupungin, joka olisi samalla muuntojoustava. Ja suunnitteluryhmä teki useita matkoja eurooppalaisiin verrokkikohteisiin, eli tämmöisiin kaupunkikehityshankkeisiin. Ja näillä matkoilla tuli aika selväksi, että uuden elävän kaupungin suunnittelu ja toteuttaminen ei ole mitenkään helppo tehtävä. Eli monessa paikassa arkkitehtuuri oli sinänsä korkeatasoista ja tyylikästä, mutta lopputulos saattoi sitten kuitenkin olla vähän kova ja lähiömäinen. Ja monesti ihmiset kuitenkin hakeutuvat viihtymään näihin vanhoihin kaupungin osiin, jossa on miellyttävää ilmapiiriä ja inhimillinen mittakaava. Nämä ovat juuri niitä paikkoja, jonnekin me suomalaisetkin olemme matkoja tehneet silloin, kun vielä olemme voineet. Tamperelaisessakin keskustelussa usein nousee esiin se väite, että saadaan lisää kaupunkia sillä, että nostetaan kerroslukua. Sillä saadaan kyllä varmasti tehokkuutta, mutta kyllä se elävyys mitataan siellä kivijalassa. Nämä esimerkit edustavat uutta uljasta Osloa. Kaupunki tarkoittaa itse asiassa kauppapaikkaa. Eli kaupankäynti on kaupungin olemuksen aivan ytimessä. Ja me eletään nyt kuitenkin sellaista aikaa, jossa se kaupankäynti on merkittävästi siirtynyt verkkoon ja sinne se tulee siirtymään tulevaisuudessa varmaan vielä vähän enemmän. Ja nyt kun olemme eläneet tätä korona-aikaa, niin tämä verkko-ostaminen on saanut ihan uutta boostia, eli sinne sen osuus on lisääntynyt ja myöskin monet muut toiminnat ovat niin kuin tässä digiloikassa sinne verkkoon siirtyneet. Tulevaisuudessa siellä on yhä enemmän myöskin kunnallisia palveluita. Itse olen tänä korona-aikana huomannut, että aika näppärää on ollut ihan vain muutamalla klikkauksella päästä työterveyslääkärin kanssa puheisiin. Verkkokauppa on siis nyt saanut uusia asiakkaita, sellaisiakin, jotka aiemmin ovat karsastaneet verkko-ostamista, eli vanhempia ikäluokkia. Ja tämä tietenkin vaikuttaa myöskin kaupunkisuunnitteluun ja kaupunkikuvaan, että onko tulevaisuuden ostoskokemus se muutama klikkaus ja sitten kävely jonkun tällaisen lokerikon äärelle. Viime aikojen julkisessa keskustelussa on aika paljon ollut huolta kaupunkikeskustojen tulevaisuudesta ja liiketilojen tyhjentymisestä ja yrittäjien kurimuksesta koronan kourissa ja niin Helsingissä kuin Tampereellakin. Ja katukuvassa näkyy yhä enemmän palveluita. Siellä on kahviloita, baareja, ravintoloita ja kuntosaleja, näyteikkunassa kuntoilevia ihmisiä ja erilaisia hoitoloita. Eli voidaan ajatella, että tulevaisuudessa niin kuin kaupunkitilan elävyys on aika paljon palveluiden varassa. Ja nämä on juuri niitä toimialoja, jotka on nyt tästä koronakriisistä eniten kärsineet. Mutta niin kuin moni on kokenut, että eletään työelämässä tämmöistä hybridiaikaa, että ollaan osin etänä ja osin konttorilla, niin varmaan tässä niin kuin elinkeinoelämässä ja palveluissakin mennään vähän samaan, että tuskinpa se ihmisten halu leikata hiuksia tai käydä kahvilla tai baarissa, niin mihinkään siitä häviää, että sehän me nyt itse asiassa hieman ristiriitaisesti niin kuin nähdään, että meidän pitäisi nyt välttää kohtaamisia, mutta silti on niin kuin tarve kohdata toisia. Ja meidän työssä nähdään se, että tällaiset niin kuin ikkunalliset tilat, yhteistilat, jopa autohallit alkavat niin kuin hallita katutilaa. Joudummeko tähän tyytymään vai ei? Hienonrannan suunnittelussa on tunnistettu tämä tulevaisuuden trendi ja nämä kaupalliset tilat halutaan keskittää tähän ihan ytimeen hyvien liikenneyhteyksien, joukkoliikenneterminaalin ja ratikan varteen ja sinne sivukaduille sitten tavoitellaan muuntojoustavia tiloja, jossa asuminen, yhteistilat, liiketilat voi sen elinkaaren aikana vaihdella. Tampereella on viime vuosina rakennettu valtava määrä pieniä yksiöitä ja tämän taustalla on se, että yhä suurempi osa ihmisistä asuu yksin. Tampereella se luku on noin 50% ja tämä tulee tulevaisuudessa tämä trendi varmasti vahvistumaan. Tulevaisuuden trendi ja nykytila on myöskin se, että syntyvyys on laskenut, eli lapsista alkaa tulla tulevaisuuden niin kuin harvinaisuus. Eli tämä vaikuttaa aika merkittävästi myöskin kaupunkisuunnitteluun. Eli Tampere on kasvukeskus ja se houkuttelee uusia asukkaita, mutta niin, jos tämä väestötilanne jatkuu, niin Tampere joutuu kilpailemaan uusista asukkaista, erityisesti nuorista osaajista. Ja tämän kääntöpuolena on tietysti huoltosuhteen lasku ja vanhusten osuuden lisääntyminen. Tämä täytyy huomioida myöskin suunniteltaessa uutta kaupunginosaa, jonka pitäisi olla hyvä paikka kaikenikäisille ja kuntoisille. Hiedanrannassa tätä elävää korttelirakennetta tavoitellaan niin sanotulla superkorttelilla, jossa koordinoidulla hallinnalla tehdään tällaiselle niin kuin usean perinteisen korttelin muodostamalle alueelle liiketiloja, yhteistiloja, ja niitä hallitaan siten, että asukkaalla on parempilaatuisia yhteistiloja kuin siten, että jokaisessa taloyhtiössä olisi vaikka oma sauna. Ja tämän periaatteen kehittely on Hiedanrannan kehitysyhtiön toimialaa, ja tämä periaate täytyy sitten tulevina lähivuosina konkretisoida tontinluovutusehdoiksi kaavoituksen yhteydessä. Eli tuossa kortteliperiaatteessa tämä muuntojoustavuus oli tärkeä tavoite, ja sen esimerkki ja malli löytyy itse asiassa jo täältä alueelta. Eli tässä kuvassa on Lielahden kartanon entinen navetta, josta tämä selluteollisuus lähti liikkeelle. Eli voidaan sanoa, että tehdaskokonaisuus on navetan laajennusosa. Eli tämä tila on ollut siis navettana, tehtaana, varastona, verstaana, ja tulevaisuus näyttää, mihinkä se sitten vielä taipuu. Ja samaa periaatetta noudatetaan myöskin sitten tämän tehdaskokonaisuuden uusiokäytön suunnittelussa. Tavoitteena on, että se on monimuotoinen kokonaisuus, uutta ja vanhaa, erilaisia kulttuuri-, toimi-, liike- ja asuintiloja. Ja kaavoitus on ollut käynnissä tässä tehtaan ympäristössä ratikan osalta. Ne kaavat on valmiit, ja vuodenvaihteessa on sitten tarkoitus käynnistää tämän asemakaavoituskortteleista tehtaalla ja sen lähikortteleissa. Eli siellä on nyt käynnissä rakennuskannan selvitystyö. Ja koska teistä kuulijoista moni varmasti tulevaisuudessa on mukana Hiedanrannan suunnittelussa tai kenties asukkaana, niin voin lopettaakin siihen, että tapaamisiin Hiedanrannassa. Toivottavasti ensi vuonna ne puutarhajuhlatkin voidaan järjestää. Kiitos.
Thank you. During these dark times, it's important to have light. Roope Siiroinen is going to speak about discovering the traditional and modern role of lighting in architecture and its purpose for human experience with the title Light is Contact. Roope Siiroinen has studied in the Theatre Academy Department of Lighting Design. Roope Siiroinen has been working as the lead designer in Valoa Design since 1997 when he founded the company. He has been rewarded for his work in lighting architecture and developing the lighting culture in Finland. Valoa is one of the first architectural lighting design companies in Nordic countries and is one of the leading architectural lighting design companies in Finland. Valoa has won multiple national and international lighting design awards, latest being Nordic Lighting Design Award 2020 and Lighting Design of the Year 2019. Please join me in welcoming Roope Siiroinen.
Thank you. Oh, it works here. Doesn't work. What happened? What you did? Ah. I don't know what happened, but well, that was something what we expect because I use this Mac system, and this is not very welcome. But now it looks quite good. Okay, thank you, Kazmir. Please. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Kazmir. I feel privileged to have this opportunity to share a few ideas about lighting, tradition, space, content, place, and ambience. Even lighting is a common part of our everyday life. Do we actually know what it is or what it should be? Is it technology? Is it lamp? Is it luminaire? Lux levels? Radiation? Pollution? Architecture? Aesthetics? Psychology? Illusion? Magic? Or mystery? Let's find some answers. We have approximately 100-year-old artificial lighting tradition. It's called general lighting. It has been and it is part of our everyday life, almost everywhere in supermarket, in church or storage. Same lighting method, regardless of space, place or content. And outdoors, one lamp, one pole. That's typical and that's common. One method times million. Is this one method given by God? Are we satisfied to qualify of our dark time living environment? Future is here now. Everything is changing. How about lighting? Do we know what it means? Do we have a same language or understanding? Can we rethink? Can we even discuss about lighting with the same language? During my studies in Theatre Academy, we made various practices how to use light as a visual tool to control and modify the space. It's a starting point for a visual understanding. We need to understand where we are, where we go, and how it looks. Let's look at the Länsimetro project. It started 2011 and was complete 2017. The entirety contains 8 stations, platforms, and ticket halls. For each station was created a theme, but every station follows same concept. This project was a very good cooperation with architects, and it was a kind of a learning process for all of us to understand how to work with light and how to kill the tradition. Platforms are interesting because there is no daylight at all. Starting point is a complete darkness. Vertical surfaces creates the space. Almost all luminaires are integrated and fitted together with materials and structures. General light is hidden and indirect reflection, and its role is only kind of a fill light. So there is no must for a kind of a general lighting system. The look we wanted is modern and timeless. What matters is high-quality ambience and possibility to recognize each station and understand the space. Lighting is part of architecture and architecture is part of light. Space and light creates a timeless and kinetic combination for people for their everyday life. Modern lighting method is integration. In Kirjastosilta project, we have killed a tradition again. A modern bridge stands in the middle of historical landscape. It is popular and busy pathway. There is no poles. Like I said, we killed the tradition. It's possible to see it in different vistas, close and far. Glass railing has a main role. There is no flattened surface lit by certain amount of luxes or no typical lighting poles. Lighting follows architecture and takes care of the landscape. It does not create any glare point, it gives enough light for people to see and it is totally adjustable. Technology is hidden and it's safe from vandalism. Luminaire as an object does not have role. Integrated lighting does not disturb the vistas from the bridge and lighting gives a modern touch to the historical landscape. Integration is not a new idea. Mr. Richard Kelly developed and introduced new methods for lighting architecture already at 50s, and integration is one of those. The main idea is that vertical surfaces act main role and undirected gives enough light for seeing. Surroundings are more important than horizontal surfaces. Kelly separates lighting to three methods: light for seeing, to be seen, and to show. Ambient lighting creates the space. Read fast, I give you a few seconds to read that. Focal light analyzes the space, creates point of look, and gives character for the place. It creates ambiance. And finally, play of brilliance. Light does not have to be boring. Play of brilliance kind of lighting creates narrative, stories, memories, and it has a content. And that's the new part of modern lighting design. Tower Hotel is an example of play of brilliance projects. Content design is part of the lighting design. Separated media facade follows the detailed idea of architecture. Light has a message. It sets our mood and creates the imago. Light communicates and contacts people about the place, object, and its content. It's a living part of the large-scale city picture. There is everyday look for morning and evening in winter and summertime. Content is abstract tone of champagne, fire or beer, or it delivers the message of party and showtime. Lighting solution has the contention to the large-scale city picture. Well, this was an example of the pretty dynamic lighting. But it is only one kind of lighting method, what suits especially to that place. Comparing to traditional one method everywhere thinking, we can play with methods and genres depending of the place and its purpose or environment. That's why I chose this project as the last example of present to you. It's a river delta lighting in the city of Oulu. It contains 4 bridges, which represents very simple architecture, but they create busy connections between islands and city center. The order from our client was to do a kind of a landscape lighting, but also the facade lighting for the bridges. The base is almost total darkness. This is really good picture of real darkness, where there is only functional factory lighting and some glary points. That's the real life where we live. That's our everyday life, normally. Little bit facade lights by probably accident. For designer, this is the most exciting moment. I mean, lighting designer. What to choose, where to start, how to share the space, how to make analysis, and how to start make decisions what is important and what is not. And that possibility is the possibility of lighting design. It's not possible at daytime. Daytime we need to accept what we see because we can't analyze it. Darkness is a good thing. We wanted to follow simplicity of architecture and give clear and sharp touch of light towards the darkness. Bright and clear light would be a signal for people how to find a connection, but something else too. Light communicates and contacts with environment. Light comes actually from nature. Light plays with water, ice and snow, and leaves space for the open sky. This is made for people who live their everyday life and see this intuity during the year and all seasons. There is no need for dynamic lighting because dynamics already exists there. I mean nature light. And the look is stable part of the scenery. Bright light against the factory light on the horizon and shadows on the snowy river. Reflection, play of brilliance on open and moving water. And brightness competition with the factory. Intuitivity of 3 bridges and playfulness of water reflections. Poetic, misty evening. Light and shadows on the snow. Calm springtime evening with reflections and sky. Autumn light and open sky. Autumn moon. Light really is a connection, first with nature and then with people. So, finally, we're going to talk about ambience, and this is the most difficult part of the lighting design, how to create ambience. Actually, its question is that how to find a connection to human mind, because we are not doing lighting for the floors or ceilings or asphalt or facade. Lighting is a kind of a reflection from the architecture to people's mind. And there is always some kind of small or large story to tell. Space of mind, a fireplace, its sound, smell, small abstract movements, and same time fully open starry sky. That set ups our space of mind, our spirit and our soul, and also the space. Or maybe just candle. Light is spirit, mood, memory. Why do we stop and stay to look changes of sunset? Why that is always so beautiful, so magical? Can we say what is lighting? Do we understand it? Or can we accept that it is a mysterious part of our life? Light is like a lyric, it's like a music, various tones, rhythm, reflections. Lighting contacts and separates darkness. Everything you see is reflections of light. Lighting is magic, illusion, and endless untouchable mystery for our everyday life. And finally, it gives understanding and happiness for our souls. Thank you.
Thank you, Roope. That was a beautiful and poetic presentation. Now we have some good time for a discussion with the audience. So, is there anyone who would like to ask a question or comment? The presentation?
Suomeksikin voi kysyä.
Kyllä.
Eikö niin? Tai kommentoida.
If there is no voluntary questions, I will start to give the mic to somebody. What about Riikka?
Kuinka kauan sä oot tehnyt näitä valaistushommia?
Kiitos kysymästä. Mä oon aloittanut 90-luvulla, eli tosiaan valmistuin valosuunnittelijaksi teatterikorkeakoulusta 90-luvun lopulla ja perustin sitten tämän oman valo- design-firman ja siitä päivästä lähtien sitten on tehty valoarkkitehtuuria. Ja paljon tehty Tampereella myös Keskustori, Tammerkoski, Naistenlahden voimala ja tämä Finlaysonin alue ja niin edelleen.
Miten kun esimerkiksi toi Turun kirjastosilta, niin miten kauan semmoisen projektin niin suunnittelemiseen yleensä menee aikaa?
No se oli kilpailuvoittohomma, eli me tehtiin siinä Pontekin kanssa kilpailu, se oli suunnittelukilpailu, joka voitettiin ja siinä tietysti oltiin tehty jo aika paljon. Ja kilpailuvoiton jälkeen aina on sillä tavalla helppo, että on niinku selvät pasmat tavallaan myös tilaajalla lähteä sitten hanketta edistään. Ja siinä ei kauaa kyllä mennyt. Se oli niinku vuoden parin, sanotaan, että vuoden projekti.
Thank you for the questions. Anything else? Any other questions? I'm interested about urban planning, you had a lot of examples regarding buildings and infrastructure, but what is the largest scale lighting design project that you have done?
Well, we call it master plans, and first master plan what we did was 2000 to Jyväskylä city, and it content was the whole city center, and we have also done a master plan for Tampere, But the point of that master planning is that we just share the space to the different kind of functional and architectural areas, and then we decide what is important and what is not. And especially in these days, it's very important to have a kind of a master plan. For example, for Hiedaranta, that you understand that where can be dynamic lighting, where can be smooth, soft, functional, normal lighting, and we can separate different kind of lighting methods for it.
So has it always been in a way that you have designed these master plans for existing areas, or have you done it also for these new city districts that haven't been realized yet?
Mostly for existing areas, yes.
But could it be done also for...
Yes, it should be done. It should be done, and I can say that our profession as a lighting designers, we are just in start point. Even I have done this already 20 years, but the profession is in the start point, and I hope that, for example, when projects started, are they, I don't know the word, the kaavoitus,
detailed planning.
Yeah, kaavoitus process or things like that. There should be this dark time city picture and dark time functionality also part of the planning, because we have this 4,000 hours darkness in our year, so we need to accept that, and it's completely different space, dark space, than the daytime space.
Really good point. Any other questions? Yeah?
Yes. Moi, mä voisin suomeksi kysyä. Tuntuu aika usein, kun valoja päivitetään, että usein ne vaihtuu kylmempiin sävyihin. Niin onko sulla tähän mielipidettä, suositko sä kylmempiä sävyjä vai itse ainakin tuntuu, että välillä jää kaipaamaan sitä niin kuin lämpöistä hehkuvalon sävyä tai tunnelmaa?
Se on just se place, paikasta riippuvainen asia, eli että mitä tahdotaan, mitä ollaan tekemässä. Että kylmät sävythän on tämmöisiä vähän virkeitä ja piristäviä, ja toisaalta sitten on just tämä keskustelu, missä me ehkä ajatellaan, että me ollaan just Suomessa esimerkiksi Torniohotelli esimerkkinä, että meillä on nämä kylmät vuodenajat. Niin kyllä me ehkä silloin just kaivataan sitä niin kuin vähän sitä tulen hehkua ja sitä niin kuin lämpöisyyttä ja sitä, mutta sitten tullaan taas niin kuin lämpimiin keleihin ja siellä ehkä vähän virkistävää voisi ollakin kylmät sävyt.
Any other questions? Maybe from our upcoming speaker.
Yeah.
It would be good to continue the discussion a little bit, because the people who are watching the stream, they have a strict schedule. So we try to be on time so that they know when to come in and so forth. But it's really nice to have this situation that we have even too much time. This is a luxury, really.
Yeah.
About lighting design, I asked about the largest scale project that you have done, and that was the master planning scale. But then, what is the smallest project? Like, is there a project that it would be too small for a professional lighting designer?
Well, it's probably house lighting. I think that the smallest, the scale is smallest, but the content of the work and the amount of the work is not that small in house projects.
Have you been asked about consulting about positioning like one light or something like this, or is it always an entity?
We try to build that so that it's always entity, that you just don't look at one point or one lamp or one luminaire. Just think about the space and entity. That's our aim, and that's what we try to do always when we start the project.
Okay. Yeah. Any questions at this point? There. You were behind the column.
Now I have 2 mics.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it working? Yeah. I'd like to ask, you were talking about dynamic lighting and dynamics, and as an urban designer, I've more and more faced that people are talking about adaptive lighting and how people, like citizens or whoever user, could participate in changing or working or adjusting the light. Have you been working in this kind of project or projects where you would give a tool for the users to change the light and change the architecture? Or how do you see this? Is it like, do you like it, or does it feel like someone is stepping on top of your project?
First of all, about the dynamic lighting, that I think that everybody of us, we can go to the warehouse and buy RGB LEDs, and we can throw them to our balcony and say that that's dynamic lighting, and it is. First thing, thinking about dynamics and dynamic lighting is, like I already said, is content, that we need to have a content and contention to the environment. And the next phase and next part is what you mentioned, that how we react to the different kind of indicators, like if we people would like to start changing. And that's very interesting, but also very dangerous too, because we really need to know, somehow we need to limit it at that, what you can do and what you can't not. The simple example of this kind of method would be like a LED screen, and the possibility to give messages to the LED screen and da. But again, comparing, for example, to the Tower Hotel project that we are working on in the 88 meters with the large-scale media facade, it's our responsibility to think that it will switch to the city picture every time, every time. I mean, every season, evening, morning, and da. So it can't be like that. Everybody can do what they want. So it would be a misery because it's part of the city picture. I don't know, did I answer to your question, but it's coming definitely, that kind of way to adjust lighting.
Really good question. We have time for one more question. Is there anyone who would like to ask something? If
there
not,
is.
oh, there. Oh, yes.
Behind the pole.
I want to ask if you researched somehow the color of public lighting, because I noticed that you have mostly like a cold blue one on the bridges and so on, but also in the cities there are sometimes warm lighting, like more yellowish. So if there is some kind of analysis, or if you by yourself noticed what is the best color for a person at night to see or to perceive on a public space?
Yeah, there was this kind of question already in Finnish, but the answer is that of course it depends of the place where we are, and also it depends of the time. But the main thing in Finland, for example, if we think about cold or warm lighting, I think that when it's cold weather, we would like to meet a little bit warmth feeling, and then the warm lighting is better. But for example, 4,000 to 6,000 kelvins, it's already pretty cold feeling. So maybe maybe it suits for the places where you need to get, active and things like that. And of course, nowadays we can adjust that all the time. So it's also part of that question that we can choose by programs what is the color temperature.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Once more, thank you, Roope Siiroinen.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the last presentation before lunch. Aleksi Rastas is a Helsinki-based architect from Turku. Rastas studied architecture at the University of Oulu, as well as Aalborg and Kyoto. In 2015, he founded his future-oriented design agency Muuan Ltd. In Helsinki, together with Tiina Antinoja, Olli Metso and Tuulikki Tanska. The office's projects include the district of Hartaanselänranta in Oulu, the Kangasala Market Hall, Casino Tampere, and the Merirastila block for families. Rastas and Muuan Ltd. Belong to the Nordic Works in Finnish Uusi Kaupunki collective, which was awarded the Urban Planning Rose in 2014 and the prestigious Pietilä Award in 2016 for a new participatory design method. As a reminder, the Pietilä Award of 2020 will be announced here at 2 p.m. today. In his speech, Rastas discusses the theme of the seminar, Contact, through the work of his office Muuan Ltd. And the design philosophy behind the works. The work is reflected through activities, facilities and services. Please join me in welcoming Aleksi Rastas.
Wow. Amazing. So this is, yeah, okay. All right. Hello for everybody, and thanks for this amazing opportunity to be here. Kasmer actually gave a quite good introduction of me, but as said, I'm an architect and one of the founding partners of Muuan, future-oriented design agency. Our office actually doesn't share like a common story of how Finnish or architect offices generally or traditionally are established. We didn't want any competition to start the office. We just had some connection and ideas that what an architect or a future architect should do, and then we just started doing. We're located currently in Kruunuhaka, Helsinki, in the very, very center of our capital. We describe ourselves as future-oriented design agency, and that means that we want to understand the built environment from multidisciplinary perspectives, and we want to have an approach that doesn't only focus on from architecture perspective. We create brands, architecture, interior designs, strategies, concepts and visions. And we are urban designers, architects, interior designers, service designers and urban designers. And brand builders as well. And as Kasmer said, that we're part of, actually we're co-owners of Uusi Kaupunki Nordic Work network. Then a little bit about our philosophy and values. I kind of tried to describe it as with 3 words. First one is fresh eyes. That we always approach a project without any prejudice, eagerly wanting to learn from the projects. Then curiosity is the second word, that we deep dive into the analyzing process, trying to understand the context. And daily at the office, we study megatrends and try to learn from human behaviorism we want to know what the change means. Then collaboration is the third one. Besides Nordic Works, we want to collaborate with other companies and stakeholders. And from December 2019, we've been sharing the same office or space with a company called Ethica, who does circular economy consultancy. And we're together with them, we're trying to work with new tools, how circular economy can be brought into urban design and land use especially. Context, the frame of the seminar. In our design process and projects, we analyze the backgrounds. We focus on understanding the locational, demographic and lifestyle dimensions in order to understand what kind of activities, spaces and services our designs should fulfill. And I wish I can clarify how do we do this by showing a couple example projects. And I've selected the projects that they are ongoing, meaning that we actually have some kind of contact to them. And some of the projects are like waiting, of course, to be moved on to a certain design phase to the next one. Let's start from close by. So Kangasala is approximately, Tampere is here, so 25-minute drive. And the city center is located on a neck of land. This is a photo of the city center, few years old already, actually just before the new cultural center was completed here behind the public library. In this picture, it might be quite hard actually to find the market square, but it's there in the center, surrounded by streets, huge parking area, and some buildings. The size of the open area is pretty much the size of a Senate square in Helsinki. The amount of inhabitants is a bit different. This actually results that in the heart of the city, it feels active and lively only when there's some kind of a bigger event or the weather is favorable. We started the project with Nordic Works in 2016 and participate the locals to ponder not what they want for the market square or for the city center, but more like asking like, why is it empty? And of course we got a lot of ideas what to do with the coziness, and for example, let's bring more greenery and stuff like that. But the interesting point at this phase was that we got to understand this kind of a market identity, that there are hundreds of local food producers within the region, but this identity is basically not showing or visible in any ways in the city center. The producers, they produce stuff, but they carry it out to somewhere else. So in 2016, we proposed to get rid of the cars from the from this open space and narrow down the borders of the space with a new building that would host market hall functions. And getting rid of the cars would release this center space from cars to people. New buildings would surround the open area, and there commercial functions on the ground floor, but bring more services to the area. The cultural building, and also 100 meters south there's a swimming hall and a hotel that is currently being built, would be connected with a new route, plenty of greenery and terraces. Then service areas for youths for skateboarding and stages for events and small gardens where you could borrow a book from the library and go to read it under cherry blossom trees would be proposed. Some cars, of course, we do need for the maintenance and quick stop, like if you go for a business like 15 minutes or something. This is from a year and a half ago. The building on the area has started. A new bus station and a housing block with commercial services are about to be completed, and the next phase it's the market square and the market hall. So we proposed a new market hall. The more excited we were, the more we actually started thinking, what is a market hall? And especially like what is the market hall for tomorrow? The city of Kangasala started networking the local food producers by arranging this kind of events and projects. And we started participating the locals, future users for the market hall. What do they want? How would they use their money? What kind of stuff they would like the market hall to have, and what other things to do there. We actually were able to make a very deep market research as well. And we participated 700 local future users. And then we were able to figure out that where the future customers would come and what kind of segments they would represent and when they come and how much they would consume. Then we also invited local or regional food producers to brainstorm how the future market hall would help them to expand their business, like what they want for the market hall. Easy way would be just think that there is stalls that they rent and that's it. And then we went through several global examples of good operational models of market hall around the world and interviewed them as well. And when working with different scenarios, the interesting fact kind of was that the food producers didn't see it very tempting to be part of the market hall, like as persons, since they want to focus on what they are good at, making the products. But of course they want to expand their business. So we had to come up with the kind of new operational model for the market hall as well, that it would be some kind of a scalable, that let's say that producers that have plenty of, let's say, like meat products, that they can be there, but then there are producers that only produce like one wine or one chocolate. They can't rent or book 20 square meters of a stall just for one chocolate, at least not in Kangasala. Then we got a quite good understanding that different food and beverages functions, from street food to fine dining, also events outside and inside the market hall, multi-purpose spaces where events can be arranged, and how the restaurants could scale down and up, and how do we connect the local NGOs and their activities within the building. And then also understanding that the market hall is also the market at outside and probably some kind of a covered area that would extend the market time to all year round. And then learning from human behaviorism, we understood that of course we need to bind down to some kind of an opening hours, but we have to figure out that how the producers could bring their goods whenever they want to, and how the local users can go and buy the food packs or lunches whenever they want to, even at 3 a.m. Understanding how flexible the space needs to be, we had to design all the events as well. So what we then decided to do, it's a 2-story building, and we decided that we just open up the whole ground floor with commercial services and bring this kind of a very open light and visible connection between the interior space and exterior market square. Then on the 2nd floor, we would host this multi-purpose space with cooking facilities and learning areas and also restaurants. Then we're located on a very centric place, so the building has to be iconic and landmark to emphasize the identity of the area. And then in an operational model, the market hall actually runs also the outside market and the market square and the covered market area. Some of the stakeholders said in the beginning that the building looks like a fishnet that is taken from the lake, and then there's some of these waters drops between the fish eyes. And then the other one says that no, it's like a bun that from the oven where it's like sugar drops on top of it. Just quickly going through, on the ground floor we have an open market, covered open market all year round, and then we divide this market hall area from smaller shelves into deli shops and cafeterias, so the entrepreneurs can run their business whenever they want, but then the areas can be connected into one big space. In the middle, the lobby, where the street food, like fast food stuff and stalls are located, we also bring these freezer and fridge lockers, so people would have the access to the goods 24/7 if they can't visit the place during its opening hours. Then the big fridge rooms for the producers are designed in a way that they have their own key access to there, so they can bring their stuff 4 a.m. if they want for the next morning. This is from the lobby. And it will be built from wood. The open market, we wanted to propose a mirrored roof, because many of adults said that they hate shopping with their kids because they get so bored. So we wanted to propose that the kids would see what they actually, what their parents are buying, even though they are short. On the 2nd floor, there's restaurants and also this greenhouse for local herb farming, and then a huge industrial kitchens for the producers to expand their business and develop actually products from what they grow or cultivate. And we wanted to invite NGOs like Scouts or schools to come here and arrange, for example, baking the gingerbreads for their Christmas markets and sales, or then a local user, if she or he thinks that he's a very good cocktail maker, can open up a pop-up bar during a weekend. Then next one. Ice hockey is the national sport of Finland, our crown jewel. Kids, if they become and when they become professional ice hockey players, they start at very, very young age. They practice several times during the week. They carry heavy equipment, huge bags, which means that their parents are basically taxi drivers taking them to the practice, and then parents are freezing there in the ice hockey rinks and chatting with other parents that again I had to narrow down my workday for this. And some kids then become icons of our nation. It's the same thing with figure skating, basically, but it's a little bit worse, since the ice hockey just takes the better turns, and then the figure skaters, they even need to cut down their school day just to fulfill the use of these ice hockey rinks that they can arrange their practices. Now we're in Helsinki. There's the city center and Myllypuro, Roihupelto area here. That's our plot. It's very close to a current metro depot and a new light rail Jokeri depot will be here on the place where there's a bus depot currently. Existing industrial buildings will be demolished from the site since they are in a very bad shape. Some pictures from the site. There's a huge hill on the site, almost 15 meters, which is actually very good. It is going to be taken away since the light rail depot needs to flatten their land, and then this area of land kind of is freed for building as well. On the north side there will be a green buffer zone, since there's a little bit housing on the other side, and light rail stop and a bus stop will be located very next to the building site. And together with the city we decided that now that we're changing or transforming this road, we want whatever it's built there to frame and open towards the street. Then we were starting to think that, okay, what is a kind of a future sports center or a place where ice sports could happen? And we wanted to build this whole theme or the concept within this community spirit, and thinking about that what kind of functions we have to combine to make the best place where ice-related sports could happen. Of course, we need the practice facilities for ice sports, but that's not the only thing what the people do. They learn to play other ball sports, to get a proper training and other activities as well. Then if something happens, things have to be fixed immediately, so we need doctors and massages there as well. And how should we arrange them, in what scale? And then could we stop the parents being the taxi drivers in a way that the kids could just leave their equipment there and not to carry them all around? And with the light rail connections, could they come to the sports center by their own? And then gyms, sporting, running tracks, etc. Would help the activities to become easier. But then we don't want to leave the other family, parents and sisters or siblings away. Could we somehow build an environment where parents could, if they want, to be part of this hobby and maybe even continue their work day? Or what do the younger siblings would do in the area? So we built the sports center facing towards the main street. There's a proper topography, so we can place the parking under the building. And we are arranging the 3 halls, 2 ice hockey rinks and 1 ball sports hall, not in a traditional way, but around this like centered area. And in the ground floor, all the locker rooms and for the clubs and where they change their skates, etc., will be located. And in the second floor, we host functions for restaurants and gyms, co-working lounges, cafeterias, rooms where the kids can continue their school day, do their homework. They used to do them in the sweaty locker rooms before their parents picked them up, and that you could see to the towards all the 3 big halls. And on the 3rd level, there will be well-being facilities and a huge play area, which also then would host trampolines and these kind of other activities for the junior ice hockey players. And then next to the main building, what did I do now? It went blue like that. Okay. Next to the main building, there will be hotel for the clubs. So when tournaments are arranged, and the hotel floor are designed in a way that one team can fit into one floor and then share their own living rooms and kitchens, so they can continue the community spirit. Not actually going this through that much. On the 2nd floor, gyms, restaurants, cafes, co-working lounges are arranged in the center of these 3 rings. Then there are these seating platforms for the audience, but all of these spaces are divided with glass walls. So as a bystander, you don't have to be freezing there if you don't want. And when you as a parent are here, maybe your youngest kid can be playing up there, but you have this visual connection. also as a kid you have a visual connection from the third floor to your sister or brother who's becoming the future star, and probably you get inspired as well. I still have 2 projects. I'm going these through quite quickly, just wanting to show different scales. Hartaanselän ranta is a competition that we won a year ago in Oulu, very close to one of the bridges that Roope was presenting. And we are doing this sustainable and Nordic river delta. When we got this, started working with the competition, we really tried to think about like what's the role of this area in the future context. It's located on both sides of the water. The mainland hosts currently a city's depot for buses and school chair fixing or some bus stop painting or something. And then on the Hietasaari island side, there's a lot of nature values that we have to preserve. And then actually this area, in the future, it will be connected to this kind of recreational loop for pedestrians and bicyclists into the other interesting areas within the city center. There is the area for commercial functions and shopping, theaters, libraries. Then there's the historical Pikisaari Island with wooden buildings and museums. Then there's the Raatti with a lot of sports facilities, and Kuusisaari where events, for example Q-Stock, is arranged. And in our opinion, in the future, if you visit Oulu, you only have to do this route, and you've seen 99%, and you can do this in one day. So this area will, it's not for only inhabitants, it's for visitors and for recreational purposes as well. And from the site, there is actually a very short connection to the Nallikari beach, where hospitality functions a lot. The site is very interesting in a way that the water and the river, it floods on every possible direction. So some of the buildings that we do need to be grounded in a way that the flooding can happen beneath them. Something about the identity. I want to pick up a couple things. That in Oulu, the people is fairly young, the families are big. In Oulu, if you don't have 3 children, you have nothing. You have to have at least 4. And then they have a very strong history in log driving. There are hundreds of thousands of log on our site in the water. And how can we use these in order to build a future identity? So we started building or developing this area under 4 themes. Common and lifestyle oriented, then close by water, and smart, renewable, and refreshing. And we divided the area based on natural connection and future possible connections that would create this loop that I showed previously into 4 different areas. And then the different areas would fulfill the vision by having different pressures on these themes. So we're creating this one vision, but we end up with 4 different interesting kind of sub-brands or sub-areas within the area. And the areas will be, there's Hartaranta, which will be like an urban summer cottage-like living in the river delta. And this area will also host a lot of like social services and healthcare services, which currently already are in the area or close by the area. And then The depot area will be this kind of buzzing center of urban culture. And then one area mainly done for kids or bigger families, this very child-friendly area. And then the area within the woods will be this coexistence of nature and experimental construction. We will have 4 different types of shore areas, and we want to leave the shores for the users. We don't want to build right next to the shore. We want the shore to be public. Then we frame this area with this kind of a back structure that then opens and directs people in. And then we create block level identity and different typology. Some of the blocks are more closed and some of them are more open. And then we propose several ownership models to the area. Interesting in this one is that kind of the best places to build we want to offer for co-building and these joint projects. And the big greedy developers, they go a little bit behind. And then this orientation is built from connecting the public buildings and public functions on both sides of the water area. Then this area will host the housing fair in 2025. We don't yet know where the housing fair will be. This image is actually from from a competition phase, but we'd like to use some of the existing depot buildings like warehouses as fair buildings on the area. There's an island where we will host this kind of summer cottage-like functions, public saunas and stages for tango dancing and kitchens, and those can be used by all the citizens, not only the people living in here. But it's like a huge common, not space, but an island. Then the logs will be used as a structure for landscaping and play. In the depot, common spaces and future services for the entrepreneurs will be shared. So you can, as an inhabitant, you can use the workshops or maker spaces, or then as an entrepreneur, you can expand your business based on those. Flooding is directed, this urban flooding is directed to the new streams that will become play areas as well. And then in these experimental areas, there will be like additional buildings that people can use in any ways they want, in greenhouses or saunas or additional housing units as well. Looks like the bridge in Turku. A lot of the identity of, or the visual identity of the area is relating to this history of wooden buildings in Hietasaari area. The child-friendly area, you can go skiing straight from your front door. And here we are actually proposing that kids would also have the control to adjust the street lights and play with the urban structure. then I have 4 minutes. I'll just quickly narrow this down in a way that I really admire the superblock idea in Hiedanranta and in Dielahti. And what annoys me the most, we also work with hospitality projects, that we have to know whom we are actually designing to. If we do hospitality, let's say a ski resort, like you absolutely can't work with the project if you don't understand the customer, the users. But then housing is something that we've been mainly been able to do decades, not just like thinking not at all the user. And this kind of relates that we always do everything for everyone, which then ends up that we do actually nothing for no one. And if you picture that you have, let's say, an area or a site that where's few blocks next to each other, why you build a bad playground on each of the blocks, and why you build bad common spaces for each of the blocks. If you would decide that, okay, let's make this one block amazing for kids and families, and build the best playground there, and then make the next block very good for seniors or others, then we could actually lure to some services to these places. Well, like where, for example, the kindergarten could locate it, maybe in the family block. Could the kindergarten be as a common space for the families when there's no kids at the kindergarten, like during the evenings? Like, please, let's start thinking. So in Merirastila, there's a block for families. This is a competition win from a year ago, and we're waiting this project to go to the next step. Just very quickly going this through. First of all, what are the families? There are several types of families, low income, part-time parent, or a bigger family with 2 or 3 kids, or immigrant family, or then a family where you want your grandparents to be around. So we started this project by mapping like what kind of families exist, and then thinking that what would they like to have from the housing. Not going, I think I have 2 minutes. One thing that I want to show here, that we're proposing urban blocks where the houses are actually kind of villas or detached housing. You don't have neighbors on your side. You have apartments that have views towards 3 directions, and the apartments are spread from each other with this veranda and a balcony connection, in order that this veranda area can be used in any way you want to use it. And then when we come to these different family levels or family types, it can be a playroom, it can be a storage room, it can be your remote work room if you can't go to work during the corona. Or then through the veranda you can split actually apartments in a way that when the kid gets older, teenager, you can he or she can learn to live by her own, or then a grandparent who can't actually survive from the daily life without help can move close by. And in these verandas then you can combine these kind of lockers and fridges for grocery shoppings to be delivered. Thanks.
Aleksi. Okay, so it was a really nice presentation, and unfortunately the time is running. So let's give one more round of applause for Aleksi.
Thanks.
Next, it's time to have lunch. Whoa, that's dangerous. Next, it's time to have lunch in the nearby restaurants. If you take the stairs down, you can take a sharp left and go directly into Siberia with many options. If you have time after lunch, I highly suggest visiting the architecture exhibition in the TR2 space behind the door on the right side of this space. So the exhibition is about architecture from the 1960s, and it's brought here by the Museum of Finnish Architecture and Tamsafa. After lunch, we will have presentations by Rainer Mahlamäki and David Sim. For the people following the stream, we will create a new YouTube and Facebook link during lunch. So you need to come back to the Tadweek channel and open the stream again after lunch. The seminar continues at 1. See you then. Enjoy the lunch.